Back in 1976, while America was throwing a massive 200th birthday party for itself, the Marriott Corporation decided to build its own unique celebration in the quiet little farm town of Gurnee, Illinois. Not just another collection of spinning rides and midway games, this was going to be Marriott's Great America, a meticulously crafted tribute to American heritage, dreamed up as a wholesome, state-of-the-art, family-friendly destination, and perfectly sandwiched between the major metropolitan hubs of Chicago and Milwaukee. It was a park born from the wave of patriotism sweeping the nation, a place designed to be a living postcard of America's idealized past. Fast forward 50 years, and the park skyline is an imposing forest of roller coasters. That sign out front, it now reads Six Flags. So, how did we get from there to here? How did a park conceived from bicentennial optimism and family values transform itself into one of the self-proclaimed thrill capitals of the Midwest? For its 50th anniversary, we're going to trace the entire sprawling journey, the corporate visions, the creative triumphs, the turbulent transitions, the heartbreaking losses, and 5 decades of memories of the park now known as Six Flags Great America. The story really kicks off in the early 1970s, a time when the theme park industry was booming. The Marriott Corporation, an undisputed giant in the hotel and hospitality world, looked at the success of parks like Disney and saw a massive, untapped opportunity. Disney had the coast locked down, but Marriott's founder, J. Willard Marriott, and his son, Bill Marriott Jr., envisioned a new kind of park for the American heartland. Their concept was ambitious: build 2 nearly identical Americana theme parks, opening them almost simultaneously. After quietly snapping up 600 acres of rural land in Gurnee, the company made its big announcement on January 29th of 1973. One park would be built in Illinois, the other in Santa Clara, California. This was a serious, high-level operation. Marriott poured its signature hospitality expertise into the project, aiming for a level of quality and detail that was unprecedented for a regional park. They hired Randall Duell, a world-famous movie set designer who had worked on classic films and had a hand in the layout of several other major parks, to ensure Great America felt like stepping into a series of picture-perfect, historical American towns. The theming was intended to be exceptional, a cut above the competition. But the road to opening day wasn't exactly smooth. A bold plan for a third, even larger park near Washington, D.C. was completely shut down by intense local opposition from residents who feared the traffic and commercialization it would bring. Even in Illinois, the project faced hurdles. The Illinois Tollway Authority, for instance, shot down a proposal for a direct off-ramp from the highway into the park's parking lot, a logistical setback that complicated access. It was a reality check that even a corporate powerhouse like Marriott had to fight for every piece of its vision. Still, construction in Gurnee and Santa Clara moved at a breakneck pace. The goal was firm: open in 1976, tying the park's debut to America's bicentennial celebration, and harnessing all of that patriotic energy. The California park opened its gates first on March 20th of 1976. Then, just over 2 months later, on May 29th, despite rainy weather threatening the festivities, Marriott's Great America in Gurnee held its grand opening. For an admission price of just under $8, adults could step into a world unlike anything else in the Midwest. The experience began in Carousel Plaza, with the incredible double-decker Columbia Carousel as the stunning centerpiece. At the time, it was one of the grandest carousels in the world, a truly magnificent icon that immediately signaled the park's commitment to quality and classic beauty. From there, guests could explore 5 distinct lands, each with its own meticulously crafted atmosphere: the small-town charm of Hometown Square, the classic midway action and games of County Fair, the New Orleans-inspired architecture and jazz of Orleans Place, the rustic Canadian wilderness of Yukon Territory, and the patriotic Yankee Harbor. The ride lineup on day one was deliberately focused on the entire family. There were only 3 roller coasters. The main event was Willard's Whizzer, a custom-built Schwarzkopf speed racer named for Marriott's founder, J. Willard Marriott. It was famous for its unique spiral lift hill, which pulled the train up an electric spiral chain lift before sending it through a zippy course of fun turns and gentle drops through the woods. It was thrilling without being too scary. Arrow's Turn of the Century roller coaster gave a faster, more intense ride with airtime hills and 2 corkscrew inversions, while a small steel coaster called the Gulf Coaster from the Alan Herschel Company was there for the younger kids, though that one barely lasted the first season before being removed. But the real heart of the park was in its other attractions and its atmosphere. Just to name a few, Intamin's Skywhirl was an astonishing triple-armed Ferris wheel, a one-of-a-kind ride offering incredible panoramic views. There were 2 sky rides, the Delta Flyer and Eagles Flight, which offered leisurely scenic trips across the park, allowing guests to relax and plan their day. Chance Manufacturing's Cajun Cliffhanger and their Trabant, named Bottoms Up, provided intense spinning rides. There was also a collection of Schwarzkopf flat rides, including their Enterprise, named Orleans Orbit, their Calypso, named Fiddler's Fling, and their Polyp, dubbed the Lobster. Also, Zier's spinning swinging ride, named Whirligig. That offered a variety of flat rides for the whole family to enjoy. Loggers Run and Yankee Clipper from Aero Development filled in the water ride category. And, thanks to a partnership with Warner Brothers, the Looney Tunes characters wandered the midways, posing for pictures and delighting children. Every single detail, from the pristine landscaping to the friendly staff, was designed to create a clean, safe, and immersive family atmosphere, the Marriott standard of excellence. Marriott continued to invest and build. 1977 saw the addition of the 285-foot-tall Skytrek Tower, which was an observation deck offering breathtaking views that, on a clear day, stretched all the way to Chicago's skyline and the shimmering waters of Lake Michigan. 1978 brought the opening of the Schwarzkopf shuttle loop, Tidal Wave, which used a weight drop launch to go from 0 to 57 miles per hour in 6 seconds through a vertical loop and back. 1980 saw the retheme of Turn of the Century into the Demon by bringing Arrow back to swap the 2 airtime hills out for vertical loops. But it was in 1981 that Marriott did something that would change the park's skyline and its identity forever. It was a statement. It was the American Eagle. Designed by Intamin as their very first wooden roller coaster, ground broke for the ride in June of 1980. Built from over 1 million feet of lumber, it shattered records when it debuted on May 23rd of 1981. It became the world's tallest wooden roller coaster at 127 feet and the fastest at 66 miles per hour. And with its massive 147-foot drop, it also claimed the record for the longest drop on a wooden roller coaster. It's a massive racing coaster with 2 distinct tracks, red and blue, letting trains duel side by side through a sprawling out and back layout that culminates in a dizzying high G-force helix finale. The American Eagle was an absolute monster of a roller coaster, far beyond the family-friendly scale of anything the park had offered before. It was an undeniable sign that even under Marriott's wholesome vision, the siren song of bigger, faster, and more thrilling rides was impossible to resist. The final years of the Marriott era brought even more intense thrill rides, like the Edge, a terrifying first-generation Intamin freefall ride that lifted riders up an elevator tower lift and dropped them, and Whitewater Rampage, a river rapids ride that soaked everyone on board. But behind the scenes, the corporate mood was shifting. Marriott was reportedly let down by the financial performance of its theme park division. The dream of a third park was long dead, and the profits from the 2 existing parks just weren't living up to the company's high expectations. So, Marriott decided to divest from the amusement industry and get back into its core business of hotels and restaurants. In April of 1984, a buyer came forward, Bally Manufacturing, the parent company of the Six Flags Corporation. The deal was finalized in May for $114.5 million, and a brand new era in Gurnee was about to begin. The Marriott dream had lasted just 8 seasons.